Take care and
Yeah. All right. Let me see. Okay, let me make Shyam Garu and Saket Garu as admin here. Okay, Shyam Garu, Saket Garu, I've made you both co-host.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks, kids and parents, for your patience. The prior class has to end, and sometimes the kids do ask questions and it overruns. So we're trying to get it started by 9:40, but hopefully, yeah, I know original was 9:30, but because of technical reasons and other things, we had to shift it by 10 minutes. Hopefully, we get it all lined up by 9:45 PST.
Dilip garu, one small thing, Andy. Chat lo chat with only host or co-host an option enable chestara.
Chat with only
Chat with host and co-host. పిల్లలు పాపం ఆన్సర్స్ పంపించేటప్పుడు దే ఆర్ సెండింగ్ ఎవ్రీవన్ అన్నెసెసరీ.
ఓకే, అది ఆప్షన్ ఎక్కడ ఉందండి? నేను చాట్ లో
చాట్ లో మీరు రైట్ సైడ్ 3 డాట్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, లైక్ సెండ్ టు.
yeah, I saw it and I changed it now. I changed it now.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Andy. Yeah, one last thing, Andy, to all the parents and the kids, send some emails to you guys. Hopefully, it gives access to the recordings, in case anyone has missed any session. Hopefully you can catch up to those. If I missed anyone, please do send me a note, Andy. All right, Saket Garu and Shyam Garu, take it over.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. Thank you, Dilip garu, for this. And hello, kids. How are you doing, everyone? I request everybody to on your video.
Good.
Wow, good. Nice energy.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I can see a very good energy in all of you to attend this session. And in the last class, Miss Andrea has been coaching you. And today we are very blessed to have Mr. Grandmaster Shyam Sundar. And he is the coach of maybe in a short way, I can say in a couple of weeks ago, he's the coach of World Under 14 champion. And he has been working as the coach of Indian team who got gold in old I think in the Olympiad team for the women. And he is a grandmaster and an Asian champion by title. So you should be really blessed to have him today and tomorrow for the lessons. Sham, I thank you so much for giving this opportunity to try to fix, even it's after a round, after playing tournament for 4.5 hours, I'm still taking time to teach these kids today. Thank you so much for that, and you can take it over from now, Sham.
Yeah. Hello, kids. Good morning. And yeah, thank you, Saket. Yes, and by the way, yeah, actually India won bronze in the Olympiad, in the Women Olympiad. But anyway, yeah, thank you. And yeah, I can also see the energy among the kids. Yeah, actually, as Saket mentioned, I'm playing a tournament right now, and the game lasted nearly more than 4.5 hours, 4 to 4.5 hours. But with the energy of you guys, I think I am also as energetic as you and as enthusiastic. And if you have any doubts, don't hesitate to ask. And yes, I'll just share my screen. Just a moment. We'll just start. So yes, I guess you all can. I guess you all can look at my screen, right? Yeah. So we'll see. Like, so basically, black is checking white's king, giving a check. So, which move can white play to hinder the check? I guess you all can see the notations also here, A, B, C, D, and numericals 1 to 8. Just play a move that hinders the check. What all the moves that you can see in this position. Yes. Okay.
This is on 6E. 6E. That could work. Because this one cannot go diagonal. You said add on 6E because it cannot go diagonal.
So yeah. So we're looking at the squares which is not been into X symbol. So we're just seeing only these squares, which is not marked with anything. So yes, and most of you have told the right answer, but you just mentioned D4. But the proper way to write the notation is you should start the piece. Which piece to D4? That is the most important thing. Because D4 actually both can come, no? King as well as the rook. So you have to write in a notation like first the piece and then the square. So it is R D4. Yeah. There is no need to write with the full spelling, like not like ROOK. Instead of that, just write capital R and then small d4. So just R D4 is the move that hinders the check. And that's the way to write the notation also. So don't forget this. Okay, so the right move is, as you mentioned, yes, rook D4. Right, let's look at next one. Just as you can see, black is giving the check to the white's king. So the king cannot move because the pawn is there. So what do you think can white do here?
William, the llama. But the llama. Here's the llama. Almost goes diagonal, so you should pull it down in the way of the black. Look.
Very good. Yes. So try to focus hard and try to look at the pieces properly. Which piece of you is placed where and how is it placed? Try to have a look at that as
I'm putting chat. Or I could just say it. The llama's go diagonal. Llama goes diagonal, right?
Yes.
Llama goes diagonal. But if you put the llama down,
Yeah. Click on it. Then click on it.
you can't. This is the master screen.
So where is your screen?
You
You can
can.
tell. You can tell like this.
Yeah, I am. It's
Okay.
So he literally hurt you. You have to pull the llama diagonal down. No. You have to pull the llama diagonal like something like this. No. Oh. Mm. Pull it down like we could take it up there. Ooh. No.
Are we waiting for someone?
I'm just waiting for someone to write the solution.
Oh,
Okay. I think
I
you
have
put
written the
drama diagonal down. That's what I
Yeah.
think. Put drama diagonally down.
Yeah, also make sure you write the notation properly. So yes, the king cannot move because white's own pawns are blocking the king to move forward, which means it's either checkmate or white has to find a way to get rid of the check. So the rook is giving the check. So it is bishop takes f3. As you can see, f and it's a 3. So it's capital B, small f and 3. So it's not camel f3, it's bishop f3. And once you capture the rook, then opponent's piece which has been giving check has been eliminated. Right, that's the way to think. Next one. So as you can see, white king is under check because of the knight. So where do you think the king can move? Move the king to a square, which to a box which has been not been mentioned with the X symbol. So king will go here, 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 or here. Where will the king? C3 or E3?
B3. B3. I say B3 because it's the forest from the night.
No, forget these squares. The squares that has been with the into symbol. So is it here or here? Among this, you have to choose one. C3 or E3.
C3. C3 because it's forest from the night.
Very good.
Is it night? Oh yeah, then I can check my still colors. Yeah, put it on C3 because that's why from the night.
Yeah. So king cannot go to E3 because the knight is controlling the E3 also. So the only square the king can move
No, I'm
up
not mute, so I can do
from
it.
his squares is C3. So
It was good.
king C3 is the right solution. Let's look at next one. So again, try to move your pieces where only you can see only the proper full squares. So in that case, what will white play? Look at the notation also properly, as you can see, the side and upwards, up the lower part of the board. Very good. And also mention the proper way how to write the notation. Okay, right. Very good. So most of you got the solution right. Fantastic. You guys are doing very well. Yeah. So the king cannot move because the bishop is giving the check to the white's king in this diagonal, which means the king cannot move, right? The square has been blocked into two, and king cannot come here because it's still a check in this diagonal. So we capture the bishop. So when writing the notation, you should write You should not write pawn takes d5, which is also fine. But the proper professional way to write is, so the pawn is on c4, right? So you should write c into d5. So that's the proper way to write. Don't write p into d5 or p into bishop. That used to be that was the way in 1960s or 1900s. So we are in 2022. So the proper write is c d5. Okay. So make sure you also write the notation properly. So again, so white king is under check. How will you deal with black's check? What do you think white will play? Very good. Right. Very good. Right. Very good. Most of you got it right. Fantastic. Of course, the king cannot move in the d5 square because the queen is giving check. So the only move to get rid of the check is to push the pawn. And the right way to write the notation is d5. So we are not capturing anything on d5, no? So only if you capture something, then you should write into. If you don't capture anything, just write d5. But if you're capturing something on c5, for example, then you write d into c5. But if you're just moving the pawn just like that, then d5. That's the way to write. Fantastic. Very good. Yeah. Let's look at next one. So black knight is giving the check to the white's king. So how do you think can white react? Very good. Yeah. So make sure you also write the notation properly. Very good. Yes. Mhm. Yeah. Of course, the king cannot move because I mean the box has been mentioned here. So we have to capture the knight. So again, the right way to write is bishop. Here because we're moving the bishop, right? So we have to write the bishop first, and we're capturing on e5. So bishop into e5 is the right way to write the notation. So bishop e5 is the solution. Yeah. And we get rid of the check. So again, black's rook is giving check to the white's king. So again, how can white counter it? Again, make sure you don't move your pieces in the square that has been mentioned x. And make sure you also write the notation properly. The proper. Very good. Yes. Very good. Brilliant. Yeah. So now I can see that most of you are improving position after position. That's the way to learn anything. We make study and constant progress. So the king cannot move because of the check. So bishop has to interpose the check, interfere from the check. So again, the rotation has to be written as bishop d4. That's a proper way to write. King cannot move to both the squares because the rook is giving check in the rank. So just move the bishop to, so it's d4, not c4. It's bishop d4, and we get rid of the king. So get rid of the check. Okay, we'll look at some other topic. Just 1 second. Okay. Now you can see the full board. So black's queen is giving check to the king. How do you think white can react? Very good. Very good. So we cannot interpose the check, right? You can't, because nothing can be kept on g3 square. So we have to move the king. So there is king x1 and g2 is not possible. X3 is also not possible. So we come back to g1. So again, the right way to write is k g1. Very good. Most of you got it right. So now again, so black is giving a check. How do you continue? Very good. Wow. You can see you are in a very good shape.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you write the knight? Because if you write king, you write capital K. So how would you write knight?
For knight, we write capital N. N, and then you write C8. So for king, it is K, queen is Q, rook is R, for bishop is B. Only for knight, it is N. And I don't know why it is N. It has been falling for a longer time. So just write N.
It could be the next letter of K.
Yeah.
Knight, right? Knight means K and knight. So king
Yeah.
is already used, so they might be using N.
Next letter. Yeah, probably. Right. So yes, very good. So knight, yeah, N C8 is the right way to write. Fantastic.
And you, yeah. So did you write it? What did you write? You did not write? Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's see.
Confusing.
Now let's see.
Please fix them.
So what you can do is you can bring your. How can you save your king now? Come on, quick.
The king.
They move forward.
The king to the corner,
Bishop.
and then we surround it so that these cannot.
So how do you interpose the check? Very good. Again, check the notation properly. I guess you all can see the.
Yeah, but I wrote muted for me. So now I am muted.
So as you all can see, king cannot move because white's own pawn is blocking the king from moving forward. So when you cannot move the king, we should see or find a way if we can intercept the check. So that's the two ways to deal with the check. Right. So as you all rightly mentioned, bishop will intercept. But how to write it? Can I also write it in a proper way? How to write it down? Yes, very good. Yeah, I can see some of you wrote it correctly. So yeah, so it's capital B and D3 because we're moving the bishop to the D3 square, right? So D3 and we intercept the check. Okay, so the next one. So we'll find the check. So white to play, as you can see, these both are queens. How do we checkmate the black king? White to play and checkmate in one move. Good. Look at all the black spaces properly. See, you should also make sure that opponent's pieces are not interposing or blocking the check. Right. So the tricky thing with the queen and especially queens is that so many moves might look same, but at least in this position, there's only one solution. It looks like white has many ways to checkmate, but there's only one solution. So can you find out the cleanest way, cleanest and the quickest way to go? Very good. Yeah. There's only one solution. So not two, one. So we see that this pawn is actually blocking this file, right? So that's important thing to know. So if you give check here, this or this or even this. So let's say we give this either of this check, the king just simply moves to the next square, right? The square is this file D file is blocked by the pawn, so it's not a checkmate. And let's say you give a check here, then you can just simply bring the king down. So the mate in one move is we just take the pawn. By taking the pawn, we ensure that the king is trapped, the king cannot move, and the opponent's forces cannot intercept the check, right? So it's try to checkmate. Okay, same way. White to play and checkmate in one move. As you should look at your pieces properly and opponent's pieces properly. Just one way to deliver the checkmate. Focus on checkmate. Don't focus on grabbing the material. Very good. Right. Brilliant. So till now, some of you got it right. So focus on checkmate. Checkmate is basically you're giving a check, right? You're giving a check and making sure the king doesn't move anywhere. So that is called as checkmate. So take your time and make sure you think in the right way. So very good. So some of you got it right. And again, there is only one way to deliver the checkmate. There's just one solution. Okay. So some of you have mentioned bishop takes pawn, but it is not a check, right? I mean, white is having light square bishop and black king is on dark square, right? As you can see. So it is not checkmate, no? It's not even a check, right? So we should focus on the check. So in this position, at this moment, only the queen can give the check, not the bishop. So in that logic, which move you think is the right way to deliver the mate? Made in one move. Right, very good. So, right, it's QD5. That's the proper way to write because you're moving the queen. To which square you're moving? You're moving to the D5 square. So that's the way to write the piece that you're moving and which square you're landing. So remember this way so that you can write it easily. So it's QD5 is a checkmate because the king cannot capture the queen because this queen is being defended by this bishop, right? So that's why queen takes pawn is the only way to finish the game. Bishop takes pawn is not right because it's not giving a check. So we take the pawn with the queen, right? Very good. Some of you got it right. So think like this. So white to play and again checkmate in one move. So focus on the white pieces, black pieces, and then see how you can deliver check. Right. Very good. All right. Right. Fantastic. So some of you got it right. Let's see. So black king is kind of stuck in the corner, no? Corner as in the squares that we see in a small square. Black king is stuck in the corner in this square. So how to deal with it? And rook moves only in file or rank. So the rook cannot go like this or like this. It goes only like this or like this. So at the moment, the rook cannot give check, no, because it is being, there is no proper way to move the rook. So only one force of white can actually give a check to the black king, and that is the pawn. So the right solution is it's e5 and it's a checkmate, because the pawn is actually defended by the rook on e3 square, and we're giving a check, and the king cannot move to either square because it is being blocked by his own pieces. So e5 is the right move. Checkmate. Okay, now this is one of the most famous themes and a pattern that you all will come across. So white to play, and how do you think we can checkmate the black's king? Wow, fantastic. You will encounter these patterns regularly whenever you solve tactics or play games. Okay, just one small clarification about the position that so black pawns, these pawns are moving forward, like, which means they can actually go cross to recapture. So pawns are coming like this. So we should, of course, only one piece is there on the board, that is a knight. So we have to move the knight in the proper square that it gives checkmate. So it is knight e5 checkmate, not knight d4, because then if you move here, then black pawn will capture the knight. Because pawns go forward, but for capturing it can go in a sideways. So knight e5 is the right way to checkmate. This is a very famous pattern, so don't forget this pattern. This check exists in many tactical big books. So knight e5 is the right way. Okay, next one. So white to play again, checkmate in one move. Just one solution is there. So make sure you look at the position properly. Just this 16 squares are there. In this, only one move is the right answer. Very good. Nice. All right, very good. So there is only one solution. And of course, also make sure you write the notation properly. I still see some of you writing in a different way. This is also fine, but not the problem. So there's just one solution. So very good. Almost most of you got it right. So basically, we have to give check in such a way that king cannot move. At the same time, nothing can interpose the check. So that should always be there in our mind whenever we attempt to give the checkmate. So here, the king cannot go backwards because his own pieces are blocking the king's path, right? So it is not possible. And king backwards is not. King, if you give a check, only this square is there. This or this. So basically, we have to visualize in such a way that we give check in a way that the king cannot move to these two squares. So that's the way I see chess in general. I try to visualize the squares or moves. So in that logic, only one square can actually stop black's king to not move these two squares, e4 and f4. That is queen here. Queen f3 is the right solution. Because now we see that the king cannot go to any square because both are the e4 and f4 are controlled and king cannot move backwards. So this is the right. So you should always remember this pattern about giving checkmate. Making sure the king cannot move, number one, and making sure that there is no interpose or interception. Same way, white to play and checkmate in one move. There's only one solution. Right. So look, I can see that you have mentioned rook d. This is another way when writing notation. So you mentioned that rook d5, right? So the question arises, which rook to d5? Is it c rook or e rook? So you should mention that rook, whichever rook you wanted to, and that's the way you should write. Like the proper way to write is r c d5 or e d5. So that's the way to write the notations. I'll just write the right. So of course, most of you got it right. So I'll just write how do I write? So that's the way to write the notation, as you can see in the chat. It's capital R C to D5. Right? C rook is coming to D5, no? That's the way to write. If you want E rook, then R E D5. Otherwise, it's R C D5. So don't forget this also when writing notation. So of course, if you give this check, then the king comes here. So we're giving a check so that the king has no square. Very good. Impressive. So let's look at next one. So why to play? And again, how do you deliver the checkmate? Again, remember, when giving check, make sure the king cannot move and there is nothing to intercept the check. And also make sure you write the notation properly. Very good. Yes. Some of you got it right. Very good. That's a good thing. As I mentioned earlier, also you guys are improving position by position. The way you write, the way you think, it shows tremendous concentration. So yeah, we have to give a check at the same time. Make sure that king cannot move. So yes, so we have only one piece left on the board, just bishop. So we write capital B, and to which square we're jumping? We're jumping to E4. Bishop E4 is the only square that gives check, and we see that the black king cannot move because it is being blocked by his own pieces. So bishop E4 is a check, right? It's made. It is slightly tricky. White to play and checkmate in one move. So don't rush and make sure you think and solve it in the right way. So it's checkmate in one move. So make sure you give a check. And also make sure there is no interception. So give check in a way that opponent's king cannot move. Very good. Yeah. There is only one solution. So make sure you give only one answer. Because we're focusing on checkmate in one move, not two moves. So which move? Yes. So we look at the possible check that white can white can give in this position. So let's come with the rook. Rook can give only two check, only one check, but that just loses the rook. So doesn't make any sense to give the rook. So queen, how many check can the queen give? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, 6. So there are 6 different ways to give the check to the king, but only one among them is right. So when you are thinking, we should also try to visualize. Again, I have been telling repeatedly, make sure that the opponent cannot intercept, nor the king has any square. So yes, some of you got it right. It is queen c5 is the checkmate, because when we move here, so the queen is defended by the rook, as you can see here. The same time, the king has no square to go. So that's the right way. So instead of writing c5 or e5, the right way to write is q c5. That's the right way to write the notation. If you give another check, let's say here or here, then the king will move to this square. So that's why we give so that the king has no square to move, right? So the most important factor. So queen c5 is the right way to think. Again, white to play and checkmate in one move. So how do you do it? So again, remember, when you're giving checkmate, make sure no king move and no interception. Make sure again, writing the notation is also equally important, not just finding the solution. Because of course, I will understand what you're trying to say. But when you're playing a tournament game, your opponent or any arbiter cannot understand what you're trying to do unless you write it in a proper way. So writing is also of equally important significance.
Oh. So
Yes, very good. Yeah. So the knight cannot give check, right? Because knight king is here. So knight has only these two squares at the moment. So knight cannot give check. So only the rook can give check at the moment. That is this square. And it is important to realize that this f5 square is defended by the knight on e3. So we are not actually giving away the piece. By moving the rook to the f5 square, we are checkmating the opponent's king because the rook is defended by the knight on e3 square. So the proper way to write is or f5, right? So, and yeah, very good. That's the way, and it's a solution. Rook f5, it's a checkmate. Okay, we'll look at the different positions now. Sorry. Let's look at so which force of black you think is undefended? So try capture the undefended material on the board. White to play, capture something that is not defended by opponents, by black. Yeah, very good. Yes. So yeah, same topic. Focus on something that is not defended. Very good. As I can see, yeah, most of you are writing it the right way. It's the proper way to write. Yes. Exactly. So yeah. So bishop has to move. So the knight is actually defended by the king, right? So the only thing which is not defended is the pawn on the c5 square, because the king is near the knight, no, it's defending. So we're capturing something that is not defended by anything. That is the c5 pawn. We cannot take the knight because king takes bishop. So we capture the undefended material. So same way, capture something that is not defended by black. So focus hard, see which piece exists where, and capture something. Very good, brilliant, yes. Very good. So again, as I always say, writing notation is also very equally important. So queen is attacking the rook and the knight at the moment. So we have to capture any one which is not defended. So here, the pawn on f5 is defending the rook, right? Because as mentioned earlier, whenever the pawn is being capturing something, it goes in sideways. If not, the pawn goes only straight. If you take, black will also take with the pawn. So we take the piece that is not defended, that is knight. So we take the knight because it is not defended by anything. That's it. So queen d5 is the proper to write. Very good. So now the knight is attacking 3 pieces. So capture the undefended piece.
Hello, Shyam Garu. Just doing a time check, and do you think after this puzzle we'll be able to wrap up?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So mostly now some have got it right. So again, focus on the undefended material. So it is knight. So when you're writing, of course, as mentioned earlier, you should write N. So whichever piece you are capturing, you should write that square. Very good. Yeah. So till now you got it right. Yeah, right. So the rook is defended by the bishop on d6, right? The bishop is defending the rook. And the bishop is again defended by this rook on f6. So the only piece which is not defended by black is the f6 rook. Because as you see, bishop is far from the rook, so is the rook. I mean rook on c5. So both these pieces are far from the f6 rook, which means we capture the f6 rook, which is not defended. So that's the way to see. So whenever you're playing the game, make sure you always keep an eye on the undefended pieces or pawns, because only if we are alert, we can exploit opponents' inaccuracies. So that's number one. And another thing is, whenever giving check or whenever trying to give checkmate, make sure your piece is defended properly. At the same time, the king cannot move. At the same time, nothing can intercept the check. So these are the things you have to have in your mind whenever you are delivering the checkmate, right? Okay. So do you have any questions in general? Some doubts to whatever we saw today? You can ask. You can just unmute and ask if you have any doubts. Nothing. Okay then. So yeah. So you all did a very good job, and I could also see that you are willing to learn, and I was really happy that position by position you were improvising the way you wrote the notations properly. Again, some of you did not write properly, so make sure you remember whatever we discussed today, and next time make sure write the notations in a proper and clear manner. Okay, so we'll just see again tomorrow then. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Saket Garu. Kids, I hope you all are learning good. We'll catch you up tomorrow, class. All right.
Yeah. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, Shyam Garu.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Saket Garu. Bye. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.